Hello everyone, welcome to Power Electronics lecture series. In today's video, we're going to take a look at two transistor model of SCR. So let's get started. So at the first place, we need to understand why is two transistor model even required. So this will help us to understand the turn-on methods available for SCR. So in this video, we're not going to look at the turn-on methods, but based on this video, we will be looking at turn-on methods concept, which will be explained in my next video. So over here, what are we trying to take a look at? We will be deriving the expression for anode current for two transistor model of SCR. So now at the first place, you need to know what is two transistor model, isn't it? So let us consider the structure of SCR, and it has three junctions, say junction J1, junction J2 and junction J3. Now if you carefully observe this particular structure, it contains two transistors, that is PNP forms one transistor, NPN forms another transistor, isn't it? So can this be written in this form? So you have two transistors PNP and NPN connected back to back in this particular fashion. So basically this structure can be rewritten in this particular form, and I am going to consider this as T1 and this as T2. So this can be further rewritten as two transistor with respect to circuit diagram connected back to back in this particular fashion. So this is the PNP transistor, whereas the emitter terminal is towards this, and with respect to this it is away from this terminal at this point. So this is basically NPN configuration and this is basically PNP configuration. So you have two transistor T1 and T2 connected back to back, and this is basically the equivalent circuit representation of two transistor model of SCR. IA is basically the anode current and IK is the cathode current. Now we will be arriving or deriving the expression for anode current IA. So how do we start off from? So let us consider the circuit again. And in general, for a transistor, IC is being given by alpha into IE plus ICBO. This is the general expression with respect to transistor, and this is very helpful for us in order to analyze this particular analysis. So alpha is called as large signal current gain. Now let us consider T1. So for T1 transistor, what can we write? T1 is associated with IC1, IE1 and IB1, isn't it? So can we write T1 for T1, IC1 is equal to alpha 1 IE1 plus you have ICBO1, isn't it? So this is with respect to transistor 1. I'm just rewriting this equation with respect to 1 respectively. So consequently, from the figure, can we say IE1 is equal to IA? Because the same current is flowing through this path, isn't it? So we can write IA is equal to IE1. Very, very important point, and this will be useful in this expression. So can we rewrite this expression as IC1 is equal to alpha 1, so IE1 I can substitute as IA, isn't it? So alpha 1 IA plus ICBO1. So this is called as equation 1. Very, very important equation. Now if you apply KCL for T1 or at T1, what will happen? We will be having IE1 is equal to IB1 plus IC1, isn't it? If you carefully look at this figure, IE1 is actually supplying the current for the base terminal and the current collector terminal respectively. So IE1 is equal to IB1 plus IC1. So if you're considering this as T1, and at this point IE1 is equal to IB1 plus IC1. But from figure, can we write IB1 is equal to IC2? Because if you carefully observe, IB1 and IC2, basically they are the same current flowing through the device. And we already know IE1 is equal to IA. So now substituting IE1 as IA you will be having IA is equal to IC1, and for IB1 can we write it as IC2? So IC2. So you have IA is equal to IC1 plus IC2. Very, very important equation, and we will be labeling this as equation number 2. Now let us do the same analysis with respect to transistor T2. So we will be starting off again from this equation. So when we have this equation in hand, we will simply be writing everything with respect to 2. That is, you have IC2 is equal to alpha 2 into IE2 plus ICBO2. But from the figure, can we write IE2 is equal to IK? Because it is the same current that is flowing through this path, isn't it? So we will be writing IE2 is equal to IK. So now what we will be doing is we will be substituting the value of IE2 in this particular equation. So we will be arriving it as IC2 is equal to alpha 2 into IK plus ICBO2. So we will be calling this as equation number 3. So once this is done, again apply KCL at T2. So what do we get? So we will be getting IE2 similar to this particular expression. You will be getting IE2 is equal to IB2 plus IC2, isn't it? Now, very, very important observation. Can we write IB2 as IC1 plus IG? So if you carefully observe over here, this is the gate current that is flowing, IG. So this is the overall current IB2 that is flowing. So if you are observing or applying KCL at this particular node, basically IB2 will be the sum of IC1 and IG, isn't it? So that is why IB2 is equal to IC1 plus IG. Now substituting this in this expression, what do we get? IE2 is equal to IB2 is nothing but IC1 plus IG, isn't it? So I will be writing IC1 plus IG plus IC2, keeping IC2 as it is. Now from this expression, that is equation number 2, IA is basically IC1 plus IC2. We have IC1 here and IC2 here. So some of these two can be replaced as IA, isn't it? So this expression can be rewritten as IE2 is equal to IA plus IG. So this is called as equation number 4. Now what we will be doing is substituting equation one after the other. So basically substituting 1 and 3 in 2. So we will be substituting 1 and equation 3 in 2. We get IA is equal to alpha 1 into IA plus ICBO1 plus alpha 2 into IK plus ICBO2. IA is equal to alpha 1 into IA plus alpha 2 into IK plus ICBO1. I'm just rewriting this expression by considering ICBO1 plus ICBO2 respectively. Now, can we write IK as IA plus IG, because we have already derived it from equation number 4, isn't it? So I will be writing IA is equal to alpha 1 into IA plus alpha 2 into IK can be written as IA plus IG. I will be rewriting this as it is. So ICBO1 plus ICBO2. So once this is done, what can be done is that I will be regrouping this equation, that is IA is equal to alpha 1 into IA is there and alpha 2 into IA is there. So can I write IA as common and write alpha 1 plus alpha 2 together? And then I will be writing alpha 2 into IG as it is, and I will be keeping ICBO1 plus ICBO2. So once this is done, again IA is here and here. So I will be taking IA to this side and taking IA common throughout. We will be having 1 minus of alpha 1 plus alpha 2 brackets closed, and you will be rewriting this term as it is, that is alpha 2 into IG plus ICBO1 plus ICBO2. So once this is done, now can we write IA as alpha 2 into IG plus ICBO1 plus ICBO2 as it is, and take the denominator term, this term to the denominator. So we will be left out with 1 minus of alpha 1 plus alpha 2. So this is the final expression of anode current IA. So this expression is very important. So you might be asking, why is this important? Because based on this expression, we will be deciding various turn-on methods with respect to SCR, which will be covered in my next video. But from this expression, one basic thing that can be understood is, if alpha 1 plus alpha 2 is equal to 1, what will happen? This entire term will be equal to 0, and when denominator is equal to 0, then entire expression will be equal to infinity. That is, IA will be equal to infinity ideally. That means practically it will be a very high value, isn't it? So whenever it is a very high value, we need to ensure that this value does not exceed beyond a permissible limit. Otherwise the device might be damaged, isn't it? So in other words, we can also say, by controlling the values of alpha 1 and alpha 2, we will be able to ensure that the device is turned on, because when anode current is starting to flow in the device in the forward direction, that means it is in the forward conduction mode, isn't it? And that is why, with the help of alpha 1 alpha 2, apart from IG, we still will be able to control the flow of current in the SCR. So this is the two transistor model of SCR. I hope this video gave you a clear understanding of how do we arrive at the expression for anode current. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out by typing in your questions in the comment section below. If you like this video, please do like it, share it, and subscribe to our channel for regular updates. Thanks for watching. Please do keep supporting. Thank you.